Hello and welcome back to Building Momentum, the show where we peel back the curtain on the exciting and often chaotic world of building a successful SaaS business. I'm Yash, your host for this show, where every episode we bring you the stories and strategies of founders who've been in the trenches, conquering churn, scaling their teams, and building products that people and businesses love. In this episode, we'll be chatting with Leena from Unschooler.me. Unschooler is a powerful platform that can help you create courses using AI. And we're excited to hear their story and the lessons they've learned along the way. We'll be dissecting the wins, the losses, and everything in between. So buckle up, grab your headphones, and get ready to dive into the world of SaaS. Thank you. Thank you, Leena, for joining us today. How are you doing?
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I'm great. Thank you for your
Awesome.
question.
Awesome. Man. And so if you can start with a little bit of your introduction, a little bit of your background, tell us a little more about what Unschooler does. I think that's a great way to start.
Okay, so I'm the co-founder of Unschooler. We have small team, 4 people, who built the platform where people can launch their own digital schools with help of AI. They can utilize own materials, maybe some chaotic video recordings or PDFs or documentations, upload to our platform and get educational programs for different audience. Moreover, people can launch several schools simultaneously on our platform, not only one school, but several schools, and manage these schools with help of AI as well.
Oh, nice. That's awesome, and it's just lovely the amount of new use cases that AI has opened up, right? And the quality of content that goes out there, the quality of almost everything that goes out there is significantly improved, right? And one of the things that I noticed on your LinkedIn was that you started off as an art director and then moved to working as a marketing director, and then founded a company that uses AI so heavily, right? So it's not a side gig, like something on the side, like a small module or a small feature that AI is. AI is sort of central to Unschooler. And how do you make that transition going from art to marketing and then to technology? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So I uh, landed to the tech job from the designer position.
Okay. Yeah.
Then I start switching to the art director and marketing director, and because I'm really interested in strategy.
Mm-hmm.
Even when I work as a junior designer position,
Mm-hmm.
I always try to understand why we need to do this design, why we need to
Yeah.
launch this marketing company. So it was really interesting for me. So that is why it's like there was a pretty logically directed path from junior position to marketing director at Fibery startup,
Mm-hmm.
because I really want to influence the strategy, want to influence the business solutions. I really
Mm-hmm.
fond of the business and other things related to the meaning of the launching startups, meaning of the
Mm-hmm.
launching companies. So that is why I, at the final of my path, I decided to switch to the founder, because I had this idea of own company, of own educational platform, and
Mm-hmm.
we launched several not pivots, several experiments while I
Mm-hmm.
was working as a art director and marketing director in as a employee in different
Mm-hmm.
companies. I launched small experiments in my free time, so it was like pretty logically. It was not like out of the blue. It doesn't
You're
path
building
from
up
one.
to, yeah,
Yes, I'm
got it.
just try to build business strategy, business with companies or on my own right now on in Unschooler.
Very, very interesting, right? And so one of the uh, one of the business leaders that we have over here in India is Ratan Tata, who's a founder, who's one of the leaders at Tata Group. And one of the things that he says is that if you want to generate disproportionate impact on an organization, always ask the why question, and try and figure out an answer to that. And
Yeah.
if you try and solve for the why,
Mm-hmm.
you'll end up generating disproportionate amount of impact, right? And so
Yeah, great idea.
uh, that's interesting. So give us some stock of where Unschooler is today, right? So who are your typical customers? What is the size and scale of operations in terms of number of users that you have, the number of
Mhm.
people who are getting impacted by courses created on Unschooler. Tell us a little bit about
Mhm.
Unschooler. Help us put that in context in terms of numbers.
Okay, so regarding to the numbers, right now we have more than 60,000 users. It's
Oh,
not
wow.
only the course creators, but also students. Paid customers, we will have more than 1,500 of paid customers and more than 500 schools.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's pretty good numbers for start, because
Yeah.
we pivoting several times, and this right now our current is not it's I would say it's a pre product market fit. I'm not sure that we found the product market fit. We are still in search of PMF, and this is our main focus right now and main goal. However, we had several proved experiments, proved hypotheses that we are developing in our tool. So this is our current state.
These are great numbers, by the way. And so here's an interesting question, right? Which is and I'll come to understanding your thought process behind pivots in a little bit. But talk to us about PMF, because how do you know that, okay, now I've hit, like, what's the metric? Is it a revenue number? Is it a user number? Is it daily active users or weekly active users, or number of customers, or average revenue per user? Like, what metric do you look at, or what event needs to happen at Unschooler for you to say, hey, we have a product market fit now?
Well, the main metric always for product market fit is retention. So we track the retention for paid customers. This is the main audience that important for the understand if we have this product market fit or not, because only people who pay for something and then proceed paying, this continuous of this action, is meaningful for product market fit. So previously, for instance, for B2C startups, our startup is B2B. However, for B2C startups, they track retention for not paying customers. For instance, for free customer users who just using freemium version of the product. So it also applicable for B2C. However, for our startup, as soon as we have B2B model, the only one metric is meaningful for us is retention of paid customers. This is actually main thing why we pivoting 1 year ago when we launched AI courses. We had a freemium model for this courses. We had a lot of like 1 million visitors in several months after launching these courses, because people like it. However, we understood that with AI costs, you need to charge and you need to get some money from customers. As soon as our freemium users, despite the fact that they retain them, they come back to our tool again and again. However, some of them not willing to pay. So that is why we're pivoting in the niche. And actually, this is the important thing. When companies need to niche and find the focusing and focusing on some small group of customers. And this is the main metric. When you get pretty good numbers in visitors and usage, however, you still have bad revenue. You need to somehow to live, to pay salary and pay the cost. And this is good time to pivoting and focusing on some small group of people who willing to pay and willing to pay again and again. So this is why we're pivoting in the B2B and our main group right now is coaches or mentors who create educational programs for different audience. It can be own audience, like some influencers create courses based on their audience interests. And also it can be the coaches who sell the educational programs for companies, organizations, for instance, leadership program or program of AI in the enterprise. So they create a lot of courses. They have a lot of materials that can they utilize. That is why we bring them the most value. comparing with other groups, they got a lot of value because they already have materials and they can utilize it in several minutes. Our main audience, coaches, mentors who create courses for organization.
Correct. And I think this is so important, right? Where a lot of times in early stages and having run a SaaS company ourselves, used to run a platform called ClientJoy, which is a CRM for freelancers and agencies. And as a SaaS founder, I would, in its early days, I would often make the mistake of thinking that when one metric spikes up, I'd say, hey, this seems like we're getting close to PM. And that metric has nothing to do with retention or anything like that. That metric could have been the number of customers added, or the amount of leads imported, or the amount of payments that our users have collected, or whatever. And I just become, have this shine in my eyes and sleep like a baby that evening, thinking that we're getting close to PMF. And this is so relevant because a large number of the audience that we have are either very early stage SaaS founders or agency owners who are thinking about starting or productizing or creating a SaaS. And so it's so important for them to understand that PMF is only when your retention is healthy. 100% is ideal, but no one has 100%. But a healthy retention is revenue retention is what means that you have PMF. You also very lightly touched upon pivots a little bit, right? So while I understand that pivot would have happened because what you might have noticed is that the retention is not healthy enough, and you might have niched down, or you might have explored other use cases. Tell us, how do you think about what so like, one, you identify that you need to pivot, which your metrics can tell you that you need to pivot. How do you identify what you need to pivot to, right? So what's the next pivot? Can you talk a little about that? What's been your thought process?
Yeah, so I guess for small startups, it's also always some gut feeling and some knowledge based on the talking with customers. For huge companies or bigger companies and bigger companies, metrics also applicable because they have a lot of data, because of they have a lot of data about user experience and usage. However, when startup is small, you do not have actually a lot of data. Actually, even if you have this data, it's so small that it's statistically wrong to rely on this data. You need to rely on conversation, live communication with customers. First, when you pivoting, you firstly need to talk with people who pay you, and pay you not only once. So when this customer pay you several times, you need to talk to him why they pay for you for this tool, what problem they try to solve, and then think if this problem is scalable, because your end goal, building something global company, billion evaluation. So you want to build unicorn. So you need to understand if this use case is scalable, and then you understand how this customer find your tool, with which channel or something, how they explore your tool. You go there, maybe it was like influencer posts. You go to bloggers, you go to the Facebook groups, and try to reach the same customers and talk to them. You do not build anything, you just talk with different people, with some pretty close in the use case, and understand if your tool is better than the other competitors. And this is really important, because you can build something that's not better, and it was failed not because you do not find the good use case, but for this use case your tool is not the best. So you need to find something where you will be the best, and this niche will be scalable. And then you start building some experiments. This is how we launched courses. We found out from the customer, like I had the meeting with the customer. Customer mentioned that, okay, the great idea to have AI mentor, but I would dive deeper in some program, but I cannot understand where I can find this program. I need to one button in the interface where I can click and dive to the several months program. That is why we add this button and the next day, like literally static button with just starting count clicks without building at all, with just starting clicks, and found out that people proceed clicking. We launch this course and then talk to these customers again and again, to the customers who start using this. We launch these courses, start using these courses, how they feel about these courses, why they decided to pay for this, what they building with these courses later. So this is how it works for us when we pivoting.
Yeah, in early stages, I think so. Like quantitative data it's the subset is so or the sample size is so small. I heard there's this really famous scientist educationist in the US named Neil deGrasse Tyson. There's really cool videos on YouTube, and he was on stage talking about something. He was talking in the context of finding alien life and stuff like that. And he touched upon this subject where he said the amount of space, the amount of universe that we've explored is so small that it is like going to the beach, filling up a glass of water, and then saying, okay, there are no whales in the ocean. Right. So the sample size and that's very similar to the amount of data that you have at the absolutely early stages of the startup, that it's not meaningful. And talking to customers is I think it also, like for me, it gave me some amount of satisfaction also, just trying to get insights out of the problems that they were describing and the journeys that they were doing. But here's another piece that I want to explore with you, right? Which is what are the so especially for the agency founders who are looking to start a SaaS business, they have some amount of capital, right? Something that they can deploy and build an MVP to test it out in the market and stuff like that. And the question that they have, which they're trying to sort of understand, is fundraising versus bootstrapping. And you've raised seed capital for yourself as well, for Unschooler. And so if you can talk to us a little bit around what happens post fundraising, right? As soon as you close the round, after that, what's the relationship that you have with the investor? How does that work? Like, can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, maybe I need to talk a bit about the situation, why you and when you need fundraise, and when you do not need to do this. So in my opinion, raise pre-seed round maybe a bit early. I would prefer to raise a bit later, because we didn't find at this at those time we didn't find the proper positioning and proper audience, and didn't prove some important things. And when we got the fundraising, we start doing this, but this is not the good time when you raise any round. When you raise money, you start thinking about scaling, and you need to this point of time, you need to have several proved hypotheses by retention and revenue, not like interest, not like likes, shares. And this is what we rely on like shares, on interest, but this is not important metrics. The most important metrics is revenue. And when you have several proved hypotheses, you need to growing. You need to hire people who will grow your ideas. They will acquire new customers. They also talk to customers. They also will pivoting, but not like in crucial way. You need to, at this point, understand absolutely 100% what you are going to build in the future. I know a lot of cases where people just raising fund and trying to figure out after the raising. I'm not sure that this is a good approach. Some people can do this. It's not for us. So it's when you fundraise, you start hiring people. This means that you lost focus on product and customers. You start talking with your employees, and if you didn't figure out about your target audience, it was a problem, because you can stick with wrong audience, with wrong customers, while you talking and hiring employees. And
Yeah.
also, you engage in different management issues, problems, discussions, and all of the things takes your time. That is why teams with 2-3 people moving much faster than companies with 20. So you need to understand that you will slow down immediately when you fundraise and start hiring. So if you want to move quickly, do not hire. And even if you raise fund but not sure about the audience, again, stop hiring quickly. Quickly hiring different employees is the most frequent problem, or in the reason of death of startup. When you start hiring a lot, and all of these people, sometimes really good people, not applicable for new business model. That is how we launched in market dedicated to the education in Russian language segment. It was Belarus, Ukraine, Russia, Kazakhstan, and other countries. And then we pivoting in the to the platform for the native speakers, English speakers, and we do not have much people in our team who can talk in English. So it was like, wow, we need to change the whole team right now. So this was interesting. It's a possibility, but also can be really painful thing, fundraising. So now we are bootstrapping right now. I think we are ready for fundraising. We have pitch deck. We pitch for some investors. However, we have some money in our bank because we are profitable right now, and we do not spend all of this profit to salary because we are not growing, not hiring. That is why we have some money to make some decisions to pay salary for themselves. So we think maybe we will proceed with for the time being if we do not find the good investor with good valuation. We can do this decision freely without any pressure. So I guess this is a really good situation when you don't have to rise right now because your company was dead. Yes, that is why this is how it works for our company.
Got it. And it's funny. It's funny how your conversation around fundraising was also a lot more around recruiting and team building. One of the things that I've also noticed is that when you should hire only if you know the solution to the problem and you want it to be applied multiple times, right? So hiring will not solve your problems. You'll need to know the solution, and then hiring will just solve it over and over and over.
This is absolutely true. Yes.
So that's something that we've been through as well, and so this brings me to identifying and getting the early team together, right? So how did you put together? I think you mentioned that you have a team of 4. How did you find those people? Were they a part of your network, or some event? How did you get together?
So my first co-founder is my husband, so it was really easy to find him. Literally in the same room. So the second co-founder, we found him on the hackathon, where we figured out what the problem, what the problem we want to solve, and what solution it should be. And also we have some teammates from our network. Yes, when we need people to help with this or that, with some tasks, some specific tasks. For instance, make some backend projects and tasks. We've hired the backend developer and found him from network, and also other people related to the marketing as well. So it was mostly networking. It was like word of mouth, some network, social network posting. So it was pretty actually easy to find first people.
Got it. Understood. And so the other thing that so now we're moving to to the end of the conversation. So at the end of the conversation, we ask you the question that was asked by someone else, by the last episode's guest. And so there's a founder of Makers who asked this, and that he wanted to primarily understand how, as a SaaS founder, do you decide at what point is it the right time to niche down versus at
Mhm.
what point it is a good time to explore adjacent use cases or adjacent markets and sort of try and solve for those as well. So what metric, what event needs to happen when you say, hey, okay, now I want to focus and I want to niche versus I want to spread and I want to acquire adjacent markets.
I already mentioned about the
Yeah.
niche, about the
About the niche.
focusing.
Yeah.
Yes, because when you see that your target metric is not really good, like bad, you have revenue, but they stop paying at some point.
Mhm.
So this is a good point of time when you need to focusing on someone who proceed paying. So this
Right.
is when you niche, you have bad metrics of in
Mhm.
your mostly it's revenue or retention, and when you need to expand, when you have repeatable use case for some
Mhm.
people who already paying, and this is how this is our main right now focusing. We
Mhm.
are looking for the repeatable use case of some people who, because we have a lot of people who repeat
Mhm.
paying,
Yeah.
but all
Yeah.
of them paying about because of different use cases. So
Mhm.
we want to
Ah.
scale the main use case, found this main
Mm.
use case, and scale for a lot of people. So this
Mhm.
is how expanding works. When you like have good metrics, you need to improve them, and
Mhm.
you have some like the repeatable thing in different groups. So for now, actually, this is also the next the question for your next
Yeah.
speaker is
Yeah.
that how to uh, found out the right use case in your PMF search, because for now we have several repeatable things. For instance, let's say 10 people pay for
Mhm.
this tool because of this,
Yeah.
another 10 pay because of
For
that,
something else.
and
Yeah.
the third group paying because of the third thing. So
Yeah.
how to found out that this is the second group we need to focus and need to scale this group? We need to launch maybe some direct advertisement, different sales, 1, 2, 3, different sales efforts we need to put
Sure.
into this second group, not to the
Sure.
first and not to the third. This is most painful for us. It's actually focusing at the same time, and simultaneously it's growing, because you need to
Yeah.
focus and then put a lot of like money to the advertisement, to the different landing pages for this group. So it's also about scale.
Yeah.
So how to find
How
the
to do
right
that?
group?
So that's an amazing question, and I love it. So I've been doing this for a few months now, and I've had before this I used to run a SaaS company and an agency as well, and sort of decent scale. Had my fair share of interactions with other SaaS founders, and I love it because the questions that they are battling with are the questions that don't have answers that is information, but they typically have answers. Those are approaches, or those are sort of first principles, and I love it when a guest makes it extremely difficult for the next guest to answer questions, right? And so thank you for that brilliant question, Lena. And I would love to see my next guest suffer trying to answer this question, right? It's really good. With that, Lena, we come to the end of this conversation. Thank you, everyone, for joining in. Wherever you are listening to this or watching this, you'll be able to find the link to unschooler.me in the description. Go ahead, check out the product, check out the platform. And if you are into creating courses, this will be extremely meaningful and helpful for you as well. Thank you, Lena, again,
Thank
for
you,
joining
Yash.
in
Thank
and
you.
doing this.